for 13 years. Then, after all those years, her body is being taken over by her unborn child, and her child lives using her mother as her skin. The movie opens in a house containing two occupants, a man and his pregnant wife. It appears that the man, Ty, is heading out of town and leaving his pregnant wife all by herself. This realization alone causes the woman to be terrified. Scared to be alone, the woman begs her husband not to leave, but pleas fall on deaf ears. With his mind already made up, Ty assures his wife that he will be back in time to witness the birth of their child. Before leaving, the man signals to a jar containing some sort of medicine a midwife had given to him. Apparently, the medicine is supposed to prevent the wife from going into labor until the man returns. On his way out, Ty reveals that the contents of the jar are enough to last for some years. Then he walks out, leaving his wife behind. The wife waits patiently for her husband, and still no sign of him returning. Several years go by. The pregnant woman clings to the hope that her husband will soon return, so she keeps taking the medicine her husband gave her to delay her labor. 13 years have passed since her husband left. The jar is now empty, and the entire house is in a huge mess. The baby has grown significantly into a teenager. Even she is now able to talk and have conversation with her mother, but is still inside her womb. As a result, the woman's stomach gets too big, making her impossible to walk anymore. So she moves by crawling around the house. One day, the woman who looks like she didn't take a bath in those 13 years hears some noise from outside the house and drags herself on the floor towards that noise. Thinking it might be her husband, she begins to call out his name, but when she reaches outside, she realizes it's not her husband, but a cat. She catches and kills the cat and begins to cut it up inside the house. At the same time, the woman has a conversation with her unborn child. Her child mentions how she is tired of eating the same thing, and she keeps mentioning to be born out of her mother's womb. The woman's response is that she doesn't know what she'd do if, after being born, and the child left her all alone. Clearly, the woman is feeling so lonely. The child seems to know this, so she tries to comfort her mother by talking to her. The conversation ends with the woman promising that the child would be let out as soon as her husband returns. Later that night, the woman is unable to sleep due to pains from her large stomach. She tries to reach for the medicine that her husband had left her with, but soon finds out that it's empty. Sensing her mother's suffering, the unborn child mentions again at being let out of her stomach. Not wanting to lose her relationship with her unborn child, the woman begs the child not to leave her. Taking that as a cue to come out, the unborn child stretches